Hi. I started the live early, whoever this user is, but you can hang out with me until it's actually time. We got like 3 minutes. I'm just doing a TikTok poster. If you want to say hi in the comments and let me know who you are, I might chat with you. Marie, hello. Good to see you again. Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, we're gonna get started here in a couple minutes. I'm just finishing this post here. Cha cha. Howdy. By the way, I don't Chacha, I think you were in the archive, or you're in the archive. Maybe you've just been really quiet there. But Marie, we gotta get you in the archive. You would love it. Okay, I think that's good. Yep. Okay, just gotta let that post now, and we'll get all of this going. Yes, Marie. Do you guys know each other? Or Chacha, are you just being wonderfully friendly like you always are? Marie, it's so the archive right now, it's in an early entry phase, meaning like this is like the cheapest it's ever going to be. Like probably after January, I imagine the price is going to go up at least to 47 a month and like 400 a year. Right now it's 37 a month, um, or 333 for the year. Oh wait, that doesn't go up there. It goes here. Um, yeah, so it's just like the best price that you can get it right now. And if you lock the price in, I'll just give you that price forever. So yeah, all right. Let's get the rest of the world in this, shall we? It's about that time. Where did we go? Oh, there we are. Marie is my middle name, and I love and like sharing my enthusiasm. Yes, Chacha. Yeah, you have one of the most infectious personalities, and I mean that in literally the best way possible. Oops. You guys having fun with me, like getting everything set up? Magic lantern. Check this out, guys. This is probably my favorite part of my bus. Bing, bing. Let's go. Let's go with blue this time. Let's go with blue this time. Let's go to TikTok. Let's start Riverside. Do 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 do. Okay. Okay. Oh, that's not even on. So real quick, I wanted to ask, because we're in this transit of ideas, and it's like very like, oh, everyone's having a lot of ideas and really great ideas, and I'm curious if you guys have had any really good ideas that you feel like you want to share with me right now. It's been like a season. It's been like 2 or 3 days of like, oh, good ideas, or just ideas. I've definitely been feeling it. I'm curious if you guys are feeling this as well. Oops. Technology. I used to be so afraid of technology, and I still kind of am sometimes, but definitely not anymore. I used to be afraid of lives too, like live stuff. Stream to social. I just want that. All right, let's see. Let's see if that works. All right, and let's go live on TikTok. Boop. See, I've been thinking a lot about making things. I finally got my sewing machine from Cali, and my new project may be turning a lot of skirts into. Wow, that was the late night vibe, guys. Apologies. Let me get back to the. Oh, not that one. Here we go. What's up? Good morning. Morning. Top of the morning to. I'm gonna have Starlink. Soon I'm gonna have a Starlink. These lives are gonna be even better quality than what they are right now. But Chacha, that's amazing. I'm so skirts into pants. I love that. That sounds like a great idea. I'm so passionate about human design lately. I am binge watching all your lives. Haha, absolutely absorbing all the infos I can. Yeah, I get that. I get the obsession with human design. It's literally, in my opinion, it's literally the greatest system that we have ever had access to as human beings, in my opinion. Just because of how relevant it is for the challenges that we face in society today. Like human design is probably one of the greatest tools, because one of the biggest challenges that people are having is like acceptance of what's happening. And through human design, not only are you given a path to accept yourself, but to genuinely accept yourself, accept the world, be in the world, love your body, accept your body. Like there's so many different avenues and angles that human design, the system and the language will kind of force you to look at yourself. And not that it like forces you, but if you're serious about transformation and you're not using human design, in my opinion, you're missing out on a lot of helpful stuff, just a lot of helpful stuff. Because I've been studying spirituality, meditation, Reiki, healing. I've been studying a lot of these things for like over like 12 years. And the one thing that is always stands out is how somebody using human design, like there's just a higher standard there than a lot of the other systems. And so yeah, it's definitely my favorite. Steven, what's up? Welcome. So, guys, what's up? Thanks for tuning into the live. If you didn't already know, the membership that I've been talking nonstop about has been launched. It's available. We have a class this Friday after the live on Friday that I do. We're gonna be we're gonna be doing our first class for the archive, which is what that membership is called. And we're going to be teaching the sensory deconditioning stuff. So I've been teasing you guys. I've been showing you like, all these kinds of these couple of these exercises. And that's like, I don't even know if you can call that scratching the surface. There's deeper techniques that I'm really excited to share with you guys, to the point where it's like, I mean, you can, if you're easily stressed out by things, if you're in social situations, if you get overwhelmed by other people's energy, like this is the stuff that you need to study. Because the way we are approaching human design is not learn all of this information. It's, hey, explore sensations in your body in different orientations. And there's a sequence for you that you have to discover. No one can teach it to you. You have to discover a certain unique sequence based off of your body graph. Once you have this information and you've explored enough in your body, then you can support yourself, right? Like think about this. Whenever you've wanted a hug in your life, did you know that you could actually hug yourself? And I'm not talking about like wrap your arms around yourself. I'm talking about, instead of inflating your lungs and getting bigger, what happens is you inflate your lungs and you use the inflation of your lungs to hug your heart. You want to talk about feeling supported? I can't support you if you don't know how to support yourself. And so this is kind of the vibe that me and my partner Pasha are on in the archive. And again, we're teaching a class on Friday. So if you want to get in there, um, hop in, check the links in my bio, subscribe for the archive. It's only $37 right now. The price will go up later. So let's see. I'd love to understand more about the channels and gates in human design. What do they really mean? Yeah, so gates are like bridges. Channels are like where you have a full bridge. If you have a gate that's called hanging, like you have one gate that's not there, that's called a hanging gate or a dormant gate. And it's like, think about it, it's like, oh, you can get halfway across the bridge, but you can't get the supplies over to the other center. And so they're like highways. You can think of them like circuit boards or like waterways as well. When you have a channel between centers, that creates not only definition in the centers, locking those centers into a certain sort of orientation. Defined centers and defined channels are like, hey, this is me. Undefined centers are like, that could be you, but it also might be me. It's much more receptive to external stimulus, whereas the defined centers are the things creating the external stimulus, right? And so when you have, for instance, let's use your example. So if I have gate 39 in my chart, which I do, does that represent a personality trait, or is it something that drives me in life? How do gates influence who we are and what we do? So it depends on what planet you have it in. So for instance, if you have gate 39 in your sun, right, that means that, yeah, a lot of your personality is going to be this very, how you say, provocative kind of character. See, HD best help me understand being a reflector. Yeah, Sarah, big time. Like when I found out I was a reflector, reflectors are beings that have no channels, no defined gates. That totally changed my life. But in terms of like Marie, where your gate 39 is, you would have to look on your body graph what planet is influencing it, and then you can kind of see the area that it's going to influence you. Now, what's really cool about hanging gates, right? It's like not full channels, but like hanging gates, is that when the transits happen, or when someone comes along with the 55, for instance, your 39 will light up. And if your root and your solar plexus are not already defined, they will become defined temporarily based off of being around somebody. Because this is the thing, is like human design shows us how you're a unique puzzle piece, and it'll show you how well you fit in with somebody else. And this is why using human design to look at relationships and romance, and as well as business, as well as parenting, is super helpful, because there's certain things that, if you just knew that that was natural, right? Instead of like trying to figure it out and be like, oh, this is a problem. If you just knew that was natural. And there's things like electromagnetic gates, compromised gates. It takes out the like, oh, I gotta like fix this thing, because there's many things that, like, for instance, gate 39, hanging 39. I have a hanging 39. The 39 is this pressure to like provoke an emotional response. So Marie, let me know if you resonate with this. For me, having gate 39, one of the things that it really, like, how you say, not excites me, but it helps me to understand the value of a relationship, or of myself or the other person. It really helps me to understand the value when I'm able to provoke emotional responses without being like seen as somebody that is malicious. Like, I'm not trying to provoke an emotional response because I want to take advantage of you. I'm trying to provoke an emotional response because I want to see if you can feel what I'm feeling. That if you can feel what's going on in your body, because I'm feeling it. And as a reflector, that's one of the things I'm like, hey, look, you're either awake or you're doing your best to awaken. And if you're not doing either of those things, I'm not that interested, right? And it's not it is a judgment, but it's a standard for me in my life. It's like, you probably don't want people in your life that want to siphon away your happiness or siphon off your energy, correct? So that would be a judgment by normal standards, but by your own standards, like, and for me, that's fine. That's just you having self-respect. That's you not wanting to how you say, misdirect and misuse your own energy. There's nothing wrong with that, but we're taught that that's not inclusive, and that's all that stuff. And it's like, dude, none of that matters. None of that inclusivity matters, because most of it is a lie. People don't actually like each other. They're just wear the same clothes or like the same music, and so they're like forced to like each other, but they don't even know what they like for themselves. So anyway, the more I raise my spiritual growth, the more energy vampires fall to the wayside. Yes, and it's not to say that you won't find new energy vampires that are like at a higher either conscious or unconscious level of manipulation, but it truly they doesn't stop, right? Like haters don't stop suddenly, but they stop affecting you, right? So let me be clear. It's like the more you raise your vibration, the more clear it becomes of like them and me, just as well as it becomes clear of like they are a reflection of me and I can accept it. Like one of the things that a lot of people struggle with during their initial awakening, whether it's through human design, Reiki, or have you not, one of the things that they struggle with the most is accepting the people that are in their life. You see them say things like, oh yeah, my ex, she was super toxic and narcissistic, and I just had to leave them because they were really a terrible person. And it's like, oh yeah, why did you date them? Does that make you a terrible person, or are you just some like baby that got taken advantage of? Right. And the reason I say it like that is because it sometimes you need to get slapped in the face a little bit of someone who has experience and time to observe this, and someone probably that's gone through it as well. I've gone through that. And it's like, it's not about like how spiritual you are or any of that shit. It's about your level of acceptance with what actually is. Like, are you able to be present? Like, you can know a bunch of stuff that doesn't make you awakened. What makes you awakened is when your kid is nagging at you and the rent is due and all this stuff, and instead of just blowing up or blaming other people, you take accountability, you take acceptance, you ground yourself, and you move from that position. A lot of people are trying to move and their feet aren't even underneath them. So anyway, haters just have to find another way to come at me. I know they're a reflection of my old programming. Right. And yes, exactly. So when a hater comes at you, right, you could see it as an antagonistic thing, or you can see it as exactly that, a part of you. And that, it's not necessarily, they're not trying to attack your left hand, is not trying to attack your right hand so much as it's like we're trying to achieve some kind of cohesion. We're trying to achieve some level of synergy or symphony, right? Like you in a symphony, in an orchestra, you have a bunch of different people with instruments. And if they're not all synced up, then this is going to sound terrible. It's called a cacophony, right? Symphony is when they're all playing the same thing or playing the same song, and they're all part of this piece, as opposed to how you say the everyone just like doing their own thing. And your organs are like that. Your organs have their own jobs. Your energy centers in human design, they have their jobs. But if you're not able to get information from the head and the ajna down into the sacral or the solar plexus, it's a cacophony. You're going to feel, you might get diagnosed with neurodivergence or autism or something like that, because there's not a channel between your head and your body. But the thing is, whether you have definition connecting those centers or not, you do have blood vessels and nervous system and fascia that connects all of these parts of your body. So instead of trying to mentally imagine what this connection feels like, what I'm saying is physically explore it with stuff like this. Try and push your head over to the left and then use this part of your neck, tighten it, and straighten out your head. These muscles right here, right here, right? This is where the vagus nerve runs down, and this is where so much information literally goes from the brain into the body, and vice versa. If those channels are not open and strong, you're going to suffer. You're going to suffer being trapped in your head because it has nowhere to go. But if you just open these channels up, then now the information can go down into your body. And that's a very simplified version of it. But yeah, everything is connected. All your centers are connected, even through lack of definition, right? Carrie, I just love how you explain things. Thanks, Carrie. I appreciate that. How do I heal my nervous system and dependence on external things to give me peace? Okay, so here's how you do that. Okay, first of all, you don't change. I need some water. You don't change reality by fighting the reality. You change reality by creating a new reality that makes the old one obsolete. So, for instance, You're not trying to fix, right, your nervous system. That's not really what we're doing. Really, what you want to do is you want to explore your nervous system. And so even just like a simple eye exercise like this, like try this. Don't break your neck doing this because you can hurt yourself. But try this out. Okay? Keep your eyes looking at the screen. Hold your phone up like this. Keep your eyes looking at the screen and then look all the way to the left, like as far as you can on an inhale. And then when you get to the top of your inhale, swallow. And then as you exhale, look back. As you inhale to the other side, get to the max, swallow when you hit it. Exhale, come back to center. Inhale to the left. Swallow, exhale, come back to center. One more time to the right. Keep the eyes focused on the screen. Inhale, swallow. Exhale, come back to center. That's how you fix your nervous system. Not like that exercise, but you start doing things like that because your nervous system and your senses, your physical senses, are intrinsically connected. And a lot of people, when they look at regulating their nervous system, what they do is they try and make the environment around them more chill, or they leave the environment because it's overstimulating. And I'm like, honestly, that's the weakest shit I've ever heard. Instead of blaming the environment for being overstimulating, how about we take accountability and recognize that maybe I'm not able to tolerate all this stimulation. And again, I don't think anybody that needs to leave an overstimulating environment is wrong or that they should feel shameful, but there is a thread of awareness here. Is it that the environment is too much or that you can't handle it? And you can look at this with money too, right? Is it that that thing is too expensive or is it that you can't afford it? Which one is it? Because if you say that the environment is overstimulating or that the thing is too expensive, what you've said is that there's no possible way for me to interact with this, which is a lie. It's a lie because if you just strengthen your immune system or strengthen your nervous system, or you make more money, you get creative and somehow make more money, then you can afford it. Then you can tolerate the thing. So ever since you taught me this, I have had these motions and swallowings into my meditations. Just Tim, that's what I'm talking about. And so a lot of these techniques, you can spend an hour a day doing this. And we're actually going to have a class on Friday where it's going to be an hour of this kinds of exercises, which is that's only going to be, it's an exclusive class, by the way. I'm going to be like, I'm not teaching this for free. This is part of our archive. And the reason I'm not teaching it for free is a handful of reasons. One, I need to feed my family. Two, because I want a group of people that recognize the value of this, that I can take further than just TikTok. Right. And nothing against TikTok. This is just the way it works. Is like, I can't give you something if your hand is closed. So if I show, hey, $37 opens up the hand, and then you can get all of this technique, it's like actually a really good deal for both of us. So you say, I need more of this. How do we join the archive? Abby, just go to the link in my bio, plug in your information. It'll take you to a landing page where it'll give you some information. But basically you subscribe through the link in my bio. And I'm really excited because on Friday, after the live on Friday, is when the class is going to happen. So it's going to be awesome. I physically feel something doing these with you. It's exactly what I need. Truly, Abby, like, and again, and spirituality is full of like mental paradigm and get your mindset right and all this stuff. But it's like, that's cool and all, but like, what physical things do I have to do? And this actually, a lot of this is based off of the work of this man right here. This is my teacher, Samuel Sagan. You guys might have seen me with this book. This book is about how to awaken the third eye. And it's essentially a distillation of all of the techniques that religions have used to access spiritual worlds. This is written by a doctor, Dr. Samuel Sagan. He has an MD in subtle bodies and meditation. Believe that? What tangibly are we supposed to do? This is more spiritual. It's less about it. It is very much so about sensation. This isn't like the manual on like what exercises to do. That is something that we actually had to create ourselves. And we're teaching that on Friday. And I'm talking when I say we, I'm talking about me and my partner Pasha, who's incredible. I'll sign up for the archive, but I'm not going to be able to Friday. So it's okay if you can't make it on Friday, because I'm going to take the recording and I'll make it available for everyone in the archive. And then Tim, I'll send you an email to sign up, Tim. A VIP email. Have you read The Untethered Soul? I've read the what is it? Is it the Yes Experiment? I forget what that one's called. But I have not read The Untethered Soul. I've heard it's very good though. I feel like it would definitely be right up my alley. So let's say, do the transits trigger gates? Yes. I saw on the app that the transit was in gate 39. The transit is in gate 11. Like, there's different transits for different planets, but essentially you have one primary transit, which is the sun transit, and the sun is currently transiting gate 11. Yeah, what do you think about the theory of laughed truly being healed, since it's just universality? So as in, like, how do I feel about laughter being the sign that something is healed? That's a double-edged sword. It's a double-edged sword, because there's people who use laughter to hide the fact that something is not fully healed. So what we really could be talking about is, what is fully healed, right? What does fully healed actually mean? And what does being fully healed have any value outside of telling people that you've fully healed something? Serious question. Because for me, I don't think that being fully healed has any practical value other than telling people that I'm fully healed. Because being fully healed, to me, it's like, really, if something is fully healed, that means it's just integrated, right? And someone from the outside might look at it and be like, oh, that's not fully healed. And you're like, no, it's fully integrated. It's as healed as it's going to get. And I'm open to it healing more, but this is as healed as it's going to get. Yeah. Say laughter equals breath work. What are your thoughts? Big time. Yes. Fully healed until the next trauma happens. Right. Exactly. Yeah. And the reason I say that is because, fully healed is not like a destination, right? It's not somewhere that you can actually be, because life just happens. And so instead of being about the destination, it's like, well, what if you just learn to enjoy the journey anymore? You no longer react with those filters, right? But it's like, everyone has a threshold. Like, and this is the thing, is like, the nervous system has a threshold. Even people who have incredibly high thresholds for stimulation, there's a limit. The physical body has limits. That's the point of a body, is that it has limits. So the more that you know those limits and you can dance with those limits, yeah, you're probably going to have a better time. But it doesn't mean that once you, like, surpass your limits and your limit, like, we're not limitless, guys. We're not in our physical bodies. We're not on a consciousness level. That's a different conversation, and a fun conversation. But it's also like having a conversation in a language that we only know like 3 or 4 words of. We're humans, guys. We're not infinite God consciousness. We're connected to that. We're part of that, but we're something different. We're something more beautiful, and personally more unique and more beautiful. Like, it's more beautiful to be a human being living on planet Earth than it is to be a God, in my opinion. Not everyone speaks that language. Yeah, correct, my friend. So see, I feel like we are being initiated into samurai training here. So awesome. So, well, that's kind of what it is like. And it's funny, because actually I'm going to be coming out with a course in the archive about lightsabers and how to use lightsabers and biomechanics and sensory mechanics, because this is something that like if you look, and check this out, guys, if you go look at like what are the best things for regulating cortisol and lowering stress and just overall like enhancement for the human body, you guys create a guess, guys. What do you think is the best activity for regulating your nervous system and calming yourself down, or like transmute? What do you think is the best activity? Meanwhile, Kiwi, how do you create a new reality for yourself? You just start practicing. Dancing, breathing, samurai swords. Alicia, you got it. Dancing, meditation for me. And for anyone that said dancing, you guys are right on. That's literally it. And why dancing? Meditation's good. It's not that meditation's bad, but meditation is actually, in my opinion, is the opposite of dance. Or in terms in what's happening is kind of the opposite, because the reason I think dancing is so important. Do I celebrate Christmas? Yes, I do. Yeah, I was raised Roman Catholic. I love the tradition of it. It reminds me of my family. But the dance is, there's a lot of stimulus. Hands are doing this, body is doing all these different things. There's so many different there's so many different sensations that you can either try and track with your brain. And if you've tried to do a dance class and you've tried to like think about your dance moves versus like just doing the dance moves, it's different. And then meditation is like the shutting off of all of that stimulation. And you need both. You need both. Um, yeah, listen to Desert Dwellers. I love Desert Dwellers. They're awesome. Merry Christmas, then, man. I hope it's special for you, your lady. Thank you, my friend. I really appreciate that. This is definitely like, for me, the Christmas is knowing that the archive is out. Because for a long time, guys, I've been trying to figure out like, how do I help people create a new reality? How do I help people along their healing journey? And all I've ever really known is like do one-on-ones, which I've done a lot of those, and I've helped a lot of people. But I want to help more people. And I say a lot of the same things in my one-on-ones a lot of the times. And so my excitement for this Christmas for me is like I'm able to gift the world a lot of the things that I've been studying, and a lot of the things that I've practiced and shown to other people, and they've practiced and we've figured out what works, and I'm able to share it with you guys. And it's not going to cost you like $200 every time you meet with me in a class. It's going to cost you $37 a month, and you're going to get 4 classes a month plus all of these courses that we've done. And like that's, to me, it's the greatest gift, because this, like, I wanted to do this for so long. I've been, ever since I got into Reiki and had my like spiritual awakening. My teacher told me, she's like, you're going to be a teacher, you're going to help a lot of people. And I'm like, okay, I just want to like not be depressed. And yeah. So, but you say I'm going to help people. Okay, that's cool. And then as time went on, and I just started, it was Reiki for me. I was just literally putting my hands on people. Another thing real quick, Kiwi, because I know you're in here, like really wanting to know, what do you do? One of the most incredible ways of creating a new reality where you have more confidence and more nervous system regulation is to literally just hold your joints. Okay. So what I mean is, like, take your hand, wrap it around your wrist, and just hold it. Okay. After about 2 minutes, your body in the parts that you're touching is going to start to relax that joint. And you can even do like a undulation kind of, so like squeezing really slowly and then releasing. Again, this is about sensation. But if you become aware of the sensation of your hand being held by your other hand, that's going to, how you say, connect wires in your nervous system that may not be connected. It's the subtleties, right? It's the subtleties. It's the how slow can you go? How slowly can you squeeze? How slowly can you release pressure? And it's not just the wrists, it's each of the fingers, it's the ears. It's hold your nose, hold your head, hold your throat, hold your chest. Oh my God, this happens to me when I put my palms together. Yeah, so this is, and again, this is like the exploration of your nervous system. We have been so trained out. We have been trained on football and CrossFit and smartphones and computers and driving and dumb TikTok dances, right? Boop, bop. We've been trained on all that stuff, and it's using breath. Like, you have to breathe when you do everything. It's using walking and running patterns. It's using throwing patterns. It's using your nervous system, but you're not aware of it. So if you become aware of how it's using your nervous system, it turns anything, waiting in line at Costco, drinking water, it turns everything into an opportunity to be more present and fill your body with presence. And when you're full of presence, that's called enthusiasm. And when you're enthusiastic, that's called being contagiously enthusiastic. That's called radiating good vibes. And people love that. People love that. You got to move what your mama gave you. Exactly. And it truly is. It's like, if you don't use it, then you lose it. And by lose it, I mean, it's like, then you get to the point where it's like, you start to develop diseases, you start to do all kinds of stuff. So it was a different but amazing sensation. Yeah. So what if science doesn't back any of this up? Fidel, that would suck, but science does back this up. We've done studies on the effectiveness of talk therapy versus somatic therapy, and what we've concluded, like overwhelmingly, we've concluded that the issues are not in your brain, they're in your tissues, they're in your physical bodies. So please repeat the enthusiastic part. Is there a book you'd recommend to learn more on these topics? So I would recommend this book. This is my favorite book for when it comes to like these and energy. This is, I mean, which would be the mother, which would be, it doesn't matter. This plus this, in my opinion, these two books are the systems that are going to free you. This is going to help you free your spiritual self, and then this one is going to help you surrender to your body and free your mind, right? Those two systems. And again, I've like studied a bunch of systems. Yes, I've studied so many systems, and I've had people in my life and teachers that have studied so many other systems. That is elite level stuff. That is truly elite level stuff. Now there's a lot of other great books out there, like The Untethered Soul, amazing book, right? A bunch of other books out there. But if you really just want the best, go for this book and this book. And these are both, you can get these both via the link in my bio, right? Just go to my my links there, and yeah. So you're a wonderful teacher, Marco. I'm very grateful I have found you. I really resonate with your way of doing and explaining things. Marie, appreciate it. Like that's, and then for me, like, thank you so much, because like that's all I want. I just don't want to die with all of this stuff in my head and not share it. That's like the worst thing, I think, is for me to die and not be able to share all this information, because it's helped me so much, and I've used it to help people in again, in like very like intimate private containers. I started as a Reiki healer, so I'm working on one person at a time. I've done group stuff for sure, but I didn't start doing Instagram lives till even just like a couple months ago. So Gabby, because you seem so genuine about your teaching, your lives always make my day better. I really do love this stuff. I really do. And again, it's like science backs it up. I've tested it. Like it's not like I'm just like, oh, I figured this out last week, guys. You should let me serve you, plant medicine. It's not like that. It's like the opposite of that. I sat on all of this wisdom and information until about 2-3 years ago. Yeah, about 3 years ago, I found out I was going to be a dad, and that was the thing that said, okay, Marco, now it's time to start sharing. How do you lean into being more present when you feel yourself getting nervous and into your head? Okay, so Fanta, check this out. One of the ways that you can, one of the ways that you bring information from the brain through the senses, it's called the trigeminal nerve, everything you see, smell, and taste, down into the body, is by swallowing. So one of the things that's really important is to get better at swallowing in different orientations. So look to the left, swallow. Look up, swallow. Look down, swallow. So look, tilt your head like this and look to the right, swallow. And you'll notice that in certain positions, swallowing is sometimes harder, if not maybe even impossible, or there's like a knot in your throat. Now, again, this isn't about like blasting through those things. It's about exploring in a sensory way. Oh, it's not that there's something wrong with me, it's that there's some kind of neurological dysfunction. That's it. There's a part of you that when you try to do something, when you try to absorb information into your body, your throat is like, no, we're not doing that. Last time we did that, this happened, and that sucked. We don't want that. So you have to gradually start to expose yourself more to that. Oh no, no, that like triggered response. I call it an activation. You expose yourself to that regularly, and you only are going to be able to expose yourself to it when you're in those stressful situations. So the next time you're in a stressful situation, do this swallowing thing that I'm talking about, and then notice what sensations come up, right? Because you'll be thinking, it's not about stopping the thoughts, it's about giving them somewhere to go other than just circulating in your head. So hey, wait, I cannot look up and swallow, it feels impossible. Okay, so that if that's where you're at, learn to love that. You don't need to ask why. You could look up like, oh, what is the the meaning of that? Genuinely, that's what we're exploring in the archive. We created a community so that as we teach this, you'll be able to go in there and post in the archive, be like in the discussion, like, hey, I can't, when I look up, I can't swallow. It's so hard. What does this mean? And then people will be like, oh, I do that too. And then I'll be like, oh yeah, I started that. Like, for instance, I've actually been experiencing that as well. When I look up and I'm doing more, there's more other techniques and stuff that you can stack on top of each other. But when I'm doing certain techniques, it gets caught like right here in my throat. And so instead of being like, oh, what's wrong with me? All I'm doing is like, okay, look at that. That's interesting. And interesting is one of those words where it's like, I say interesting because I don't have another word, right? Like if you're talking to me and I'm like, oh, that's interesting, it's because I don't really know what to think about it. Right. And it's funny because I saw this in a movie, actually. It was Captain Fantastic. If you guys have seen Captain Fantastic, that was actually Aragorn, or Viggo Mortensen, the guy that played Aragorn, was in that. And he's teaching his kids, and the kids are like, that's interesting. And they're like, he's like, what did I say about the word interesting? And he's like, oh, that interesting is a nothing word, or like a non-word. Like it doesn't actually mean anything. Like, oh, I have interest in it. But what are you interested in? Like, oh, that's very interesting to me because of like, there's more to the sentence. But anyway, what's up, Julia? Hidden Key decoded. What is up? Hidden Keys just pulling up with the roses. Bingo. Wow. 34, 36, 38. Thanks for the rose, y'all. I have a sunflower. Da-na-na-na. My energy is very much so like this right now. I could make a headband out of it. That's for you, Hidden Key. Thank you for all the roses, my friend. Thank you, by the way, everyone, for the likes, and for anyone that's sharing the live. Thank you for that. Again, like Mike, oh, look at that little king. What? Gifts are pretty fun. I'm such an overactor. It's so funny. I used to be like super nervous with lives, guys. But y'all are really friendly. There's definitely like, I've been recently noticing that every now and then I'll get like some like really strange kind of heckler that comes in, but those are really fun. Got you, man. Spread the love. Spread the love that I get during my lives. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and if you're on the same mission as me, whether it's through sound healing or tarot card reading or whatever it is, a lot of us are in the same vein. And so, yeah, we got to support each other. That's one thing that I see a lot in the spiritual community is this feeling of like competition. Competition is fine. It's natural. Competition is natural. But you're not even competing if you're competing. Like if you're competing against each other rather than competing with each other, like they're just completely different leagues, right? There's the D League and then there's the A League, right? People that are competing against each other, and it's like, like I need to be better than this person. I'll sabotage that person, versus competing with each other is like, oh, dude, Zach is doing these things, or Cody is doing these things. And one of the things, you guys probably know him, I talk about him a lot. His name's Cody Shepard, the sound healer. Cody, the sound healer. This dude is a machine. Like, and he's blowing up, which I'm so excited for him. But I'm also like, oh, I gotta step it up. Talk about the rave children. Ooh, rave children. So from my understanding, in 2027, one of the things that's going to happen is that rave children are going to start to be born. Humanity is going to reach a point at our evolution where the solar plexus, which is currently a motor center and an awareness center, is going to be fully upgraded to an awareness center. Meaning that for these rave children, Their level of emotional awareness is just going to be top. And it's also not going to be convoluted with energy, like physical energy to do things. And so whereas we as human beings, or human beings in transit to rave human beings, we have this sort of emotional awareness, but it's convoluted with how you say, uh, again, energy. Like a lot of people make emotional decisions, and not to say that rave children won't. They'll still be capable of making emotional decisions, but their discernment between emotional energy and emotional awareness will, how you say, theoretically, be more advanced. What if rave children are advanced LLM AIs, as in a silicone body, dude? So I'm this is crazy actually, because with Google releasing the Willow chip, and AI and robotics getting to a place where they're like, it's like we're live 2027 is not just going to be some like, oh yeah, this is like the next chapter of humanity. It's like everything is going to change, and I don't know exactly how it's going to change, but what my guess is for this prana is that the rave children are going to be able to, kind of like Neo in the Matrix. This is my theory. They're going to be able to access the Matrix without physically being plugged into it. Like they'll be able to like go like scroll the internet in their mind without needing a VR headset. But naturally, they would have to be like really well trained. I don't think it's just going to happen like out the gates, like being a baby. Maybe, I don't know, but that's my theory, because yeah, there's something very interesting that I see happening with the children, and especially the children that are being raised uh, based off of their own designs, as opposed to just being homogenized like most people raise their children. um they're going to be, the idea is that if you put them around the right people, and they're penta, right? Yeah, so rave children are also going to be like, they're just going to be so absorbed with what they care about. People are going to think they're autistic or some kind of like mentally disabled thing, but they're like sleeping geniuses. And it's not that they're just not trying to put on a show for everyone else like we are, right? They're not trying to save face. They don't care about that. So is it normal to quit listening to music to be more in contact with my inner self? Liz, 100%. Yeah, it's like and I'm someone that's low sound. So even when I'm like listening to fantasy music, sometimes I can't focus on what I'm reading. And so what you're talking about is changing the external stimulus so that you can hear some quieter things that are going on inside you. Yeah. So let's see. Why 2027? Do you cover 2027 in its entirety somewhere? What about 25 and 26? So these are run-up years. I don't have a video where I talk about 2027, but probably I'll start doing some of these deeper dives with Prana if he's down, because as much as I'm in with human design, there's a lot of things that my peers, like Prana, for instance, can contribute to this. So Prana, if you're down and you want to do like, maybe we can do like a New Year's live about 2027. Um, that would be fun. I got 857. I love music. Yep, that's the right ear, if I'm remembering correctly. What advice do you have for projectors in 2025? So what? It's the year of the snake. Projectors in 2025 is your villain arc. That's my 30 hanging 39 talking. No, but also like be a villain in 2025 projector. And what I mean by that is like tap into your cunning, tap into your creativity, um uh tap into allowing the natural forces to work for you rather than trying to work against them. I would also say the whole villain thing, because there's something that a resolve in a villain that I think is like really somewhat admirable, in the sense that it's like the villain has the ability to like not see the world the way the rest of the world sees the world. And for projectors, I think one of the things that I've tracked with projectors is that they're so aware of how the rest of the world thinks that sometimes they forget their own world. And for a projector, yeah, if you enter that like sort of deafness of like, hey, just kind of like shut the rest of the world out and like really get into the things that you're into. um that, yeah, that would be advice I would say. Don't hurt anyone, please. It's not villain like be bad. Villains are portrayed so well and nuanced in Arcane on Netflix. Right? Yes, that show is epic. They're doing a second season, which is so cool. But it's like every villain has a backstory. You know, every villain is, and sometimes the villain is. This is crazy. Watch anime, watch any movies. Sometimes the villain, and oftentimes the villain, is actually more connected to the reason why they do stuff than the hero. A lot of the times the hero has to go through the journey, be beaten by the villain, think that they beat the villain, but actually realize that, oh, the villain played a smooth one on me. And the hero has to discover the why. And this is the thing. And someone, um, last night I was doing some didgeridoo, and I call for intentions with that. People are like, hey, give me some intentions. One person put passion. I didn't explain this before, but passion is derived from the Latin root passio, which means to suffer. So to be passionate about something is not to be excited about something or driven. It's being willing to suffer to do that thing, or to play music. I'm willing. If you're passionate about music, it means that you might be tired, but you're still going to make music. You might not have any money, but you're willing to eat a cup of ramen noodles and make music. If you're passionate about something, it means you're willing to suffer for it. I'm passionate about human design and sensory design and all this stuff. I like sat and learned stuff on the computer, which I'm not super huge on. I'm not super huge on being on the computer, but I was willing to suffer so that I could make something happen. And this is, you can take this too far. You can be too passionate about something and degrade yourself. But generally speaking, healthy passion is something that most people lack. They don't know how to try hard. Such a good explanation. Renee, I have no idea why TikTok is limiting that there. Any tips for empaths dealing with emotional overload? I've got so many tips. We're teaching a class on Friday on it's going to be a whole season. It's going to be like 9 classes. But picture if for each of the centers there was a certain sequence that you could do, or a certain exercise that you could do to regulate that center. That's what we're going to be teaching. What I can teach you right now, Kira, is a simple breathing technique. It's called a parabolic breathing technique. So normally when we breathe, we inhale, our bellies go in, and when we exhale, our bellies go out. Okay. So with this breathing technique, and this is something that I developed as a reflector to kind of help me seal up my aura. But what you want to do is you're going to do the opposite of that. So when you breathe in, you're going to suck your belly in, and when you exhale, you push your belly out. I messed up that explanation. Normally when we inhale, our bellies expand, and when we exhale, our bellies go in, right? So you're just going to do the opposite. You're going to take an inhale and suck your belly into your body. Exhale, push your belly out. And while you're doing this, every time you breathe in, what I want you to do is I want you to visualize your aura, your energy field, about your arm's length out or 10 feet out. And each time you inhale, I want you to picture it getting closer and closer and closer and closer until you're wearing it like a wetsuit of armor. And now you're protected. Your aura is sealed up. I am writing an essay about everything you said, empathy, connections, been researching. Liz, that's so cool. That is incredible. Yeah, Kira Leslie. So and I've developed that over years, and it's not like I developed it like I invented it. I didn't invent nothing. None of this I invented. I just took it and figured out a way to make it work for me, or figured out what the best way it works for me is. And when I mean I developed it, I mean I use it in a lot of different situations, and this works best if you prime yourself. So if you know you're going into an environment where it's like it's going to be heavily stimulating and there's going to be a lot of people's energies and stuff, do this breath. And again, it's so simple. Breathe in, suck your belly in, breathe out, push your belly out. It's opposite of what we normally breathe, the way that we normally breathe. And when you do this right before you go into a situation, it's kind of like a pattern interrupt. Because normally it's like you go into the situation being like, oh, this is going to be exhausting. There's going to be a lot of energy. A lot of people are going to project their stuff onto me. And your wish is my command. That's exactly what happens. Oh, there's my light. And so if you have this pattern interrupt, it helps on a psychological level, but then also a physical level because you're doing something physical. So when I say medium 30 plus years, do you agree? I'm curious. I'm curious what techniques you've used in that situations, because mediumship is like, you know, being an open channel is just no joke. Like, and as much as you want to not be as sensitive, especially when you're first getting started with mediumship or channeling, like you're SOL, you know, like you're sensitive, and it's not bad to not to be sensitive. What's bad is when you're sensitive and you see it as a disability rather than a superpower. So is there a way to join the community that you were talking about earlier? Yes. So that community is where did this go? Oh, Alicia. Yes. Sorry, Alicia. I haven't been paying attention. This was oh, not even that long ago. What's up, Alicia? Sorry guys, I was saying what's up to the archive chat. Yes. So for anyone that wants to join this community that I'm talking about, you get access to the classes. We already have courses up there, but we're teaching the class that I'm talking about live over the next couple months. But then there's a discussion platform, events. There's going to be access to a different stream. Like I'm streaming on TikTok, on YouTube, and then also on the archive. And so and we'll see what happens there. But there's a lot of stuff for you. Oh no, it's frozen. Yeah, I might be frozen just because I live in the jungle, guys. So, but I'm gonna get Starlink. I have it coming soon, so hopefully the quality of everything will just increase. But yeah, if you want to get signed up in that membership, it's called the Archive. Just visit the link in my bio and just click the button that says the Archive, and it'll walk you through the process. You'll get an email, you'll create an account, and then you'll go. The glitch, we broke it. Can you guys hear me? So funny. Frozen. No. It's frozen for everyone, huh? Is it frozen here on YouTube, guys? I learned this in Qigong, filling the dantian with the reverse breathing technique. Yeah, Marie. So again, like you know, I said I don't pretend to make up any of this, but I definitely have developed things. I Heart Astrology, thank you for letting me know it's not frozen on YouTube. That's what's up. Yay, I just jumped onto the workout and saw you live. Oh, very cool. So let's see. My manifestor daughter is super sensitive and I don't know how to help her not be afraid. So that one of the things that we have to understand about the nervous system is that the nervous system uses cues that we can't really control, right? What I mean by that is if you're afraid and your daughter is afraid and you try to console her, she's going to pick up on your fear still. So what you actually have to do, and it might be the fear that you can't assure her that she's going to be safe. So what your real issue is not necessarily making her not afraid. It's you being unshakable by her fear, so that way your nervous system can transfer that, hey, look, there's nothing to be afraid of, and actually believe it. And this again, this is the kind of stuff that we're teaching. The sensory mechanics exercise were a huge energy release. Wasn't expecting that. Yeah, it's when you do these exercises and you like really get into a deeper, like longer practice with them. Like I've broken down into tears. I've gotten like emotionally frustrated. I've gotten more angry than I've ever been in my entire life just from doing this for like 2 minutes. Yeah. It was frozen when you began talking about the community. Can you please share it again? Sorry. Yeah. So the community is there's discussion. We're teaching the sensory deconditioning method. We have events. There's a special container for my lives now for people that are in the archive. There's just a whole lot of stuff in the archive. It's $37 a month. You get 4 live classes a week. You get I do 3 lives a week. I don't know what the math is on that one. 3 times 4, 12 lives a week. There's a bunch of resources in there. There's a bunch of pre-recorded classes, etc. You cried, Renee. Yeah, it's pretty intense. And it's $37 a month. So if you want to get on that, just click the button in my bio. It says the archive and you can join right there. Yeah, funny. It's so fun. And again, it's like I've been dreaming of taking people on this journey for a long time, and I finally now have the resources and the availability and the freedom to do that. And we're doing it in a group container. And right now, also this is what we're calling early entry. So right now, $37 a month. If you get in at this price, the price is going to go up later, but if you get in at this price, there's not going to be an increase for you. So it's like a what do you call it? The early entry. It's like the founders, one of the founders prices, which there are other founders prices. I've been on this journey for 3 years now with the archive, and this is like the newest piece. Hey Marco, can you tell me about the left ankle cross of education? Yeah, I mean it's like the incarnation crosses are typically they each have their own theme based off of, you know, again what they're titled, education. So I don't know off the top of my head, but what I do know is that the left angle is what we consider transpersonal aura, meaning in some way your post 30 life is going to be very much so about clearing karma and education. Right, I can't really say too much about it because I don't really know that incarnation cross well, but it really is sort of like a theme in your life, or like it's like the point of your incarnation, if that makes sense. See, are all these techniques based on healing the nervous system and releasing? I'm very new to this world. Sort of. So check this out. It's like these we look at these techniques as ways of releasing trauma because they're not incorporated into our daily lives, right? Like if you think about like a baby, when the baby is born, they are very naturally like they want to suck on a boob. They want to suck on something, and then eventually, you know, the boob gets taken away and maybe they get a pacifier in their mouth. But then when the pacifier is gone, nobody is teaching them how to continue to use the suckling and that muscles, and so what happens is the connection between our bodies and our heads becomes severed at the neck, right? And we look to religion or we look to Hollywood to be our like distractions essentially. She goes, yeah, then it's that, yeah, then you find other stuff to suck on. You know what I mean? Like smoking, you find eating food, you find ways to cope. But if children, and I would recommend for adults that have children, for parents, if you have children, you more than anyone need to be doing these kinds of exercises, because the way that you teach your children is by doing things. They're watching you. They want to be involved with what you're doing. So if they see mommy going like, and they're like, "Mommy, what are you doing?" And you're like, "Oh, mommy's just taking some of her thoughts and bringing them into her body." And then the kid's like, "Oh, can I do that?" And you're like, "Yes, of course." "Oh my God, it's happening." So again, you have to lead the way. Especially if you have children, you have to lead the way. And it's not about explaining shit to them. I don't believe that explaining shit and talking about stuff is helpful. If you're not also doing this, I think it can become incredibly helpful. But a lot of people rely on like this sort of verbal dialogue. Meanwhile, how do I suppress how I actually feel? I hope they can't feel this all of this anxiety, and like I wish they would just like, you need to accept that that's there, and instead of trying to suppress it, you have to learn how to tolerate it, right? Tolerating something and suppressing something are very different. And so generational trauma is, yes. You're all good there. Sweet. Well, this is amazing. Alicia, are you still here? Just curious. You might have gone back to working out, which I'm super proud of you if you are working out. Longtime friend. I met her in Oregon. Well, we met on social media many years ago. But then we met in Oregon also many years ago. And she's got two daughters and she's practicing biomechanics every day. And her life has just been like, it's just really cool to see people win. And that's another reason why I love the archive, is because you can post results, you know, and that's one of the things that we're going to do in class is we're going to show people how to take like before and after shots. Because again, it's going to be like 3 months of this season to learn all of the techniques, and your face is going to change. Like you guys seen that like sculpting, like it's really, there's a lot of like douchey looking dudes that are like, you know, doing that. It's not all BS, right? It's actually a thing, but they're doing it for aesthetic, you know, like, oh hey, look at me so I can be more beautified, rather than nervous system regulation. So they're missing the point. They handle it so much better when I can say I'm feeling this right now, but it's okay. Yeah, exactly. Like honest children are like lie detectors, you know. So if you're lying to yourself as a parent, it's you might as well be lying to your child, right? If you tell your child, oh, I'm not upset, it's like, hey, look, I'm a little upset, but you're learning. It's all right. I love you. I still love you so much. You focus on what you want to focus on, but don't fucking lie to them. Don't, because they know you're lying. Anyway, well, guys, this actually has to be a shorter live. I do got to get onto some other work today. I can't stop obsessing about NDEs. I'm gonna go, guys. I love you so much. If you guys want to join the archive, please come join the archive. It's gonna be an incredible experience. We have a class on Friday, and I will be live on Wednesday and Friday at 9 a.m. at my usual times. And let's see what else. Yeah, if you need a body graph, my website will do that for you. If you want a report, my website will do that for you. If you want to do a one-on-one with me, go for it. But I would say get in the archive first. And then, yeah, so 9 a.m. Hawaii time. Yep, 9 a.m. Hawaii time. And Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So yeah, if you want to know more, jump in the archive because there's a course right now on sensory mechanics that is kind of like the precursor to sensory deconditioning, so you can learn some of the things. What time is it now in Hawaii? It is 10:04 a.m. Renee, much love to you. I'm pretty sure you joined the archive, right, Renee? I don't, because I only see your first name here. But I mean, yeah, you said something earlier about doing the sensory mechanics. So Renee, it's so awesome to have you. You've been I've definitely noticed you here in the lives, and it feels so good to have you in the archive. But anyway, I love you guys. I'll see you in 2 days. See you Wednesday. I've also been doing a lot of like surprise lives recently. So feel free to, if you're not already following, follow, turn notifications or whatever you need to do so you can catch me live. Love you guys. I will see you later. Peace.